पूर्णाद पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णम एवं avashishyate. Isn't it? We also that there was a reference from our Guruji that about Vasudha eva Kudumbakam. Vasudha eva Kudumbakam. And what is the meaning in its fullness? In the Mahopanishad, actually it says that when you think that I am this, you are that, isn't it? Then these sort of thinkings are from Legu Manasa, Legu Chedasam. Then you say, I am and you am, me and you. But when you think as a Guru Tejasam, if you think that Uttama Tejasam, as that you are, understanding everything, then you feel Vasudha Eva Kudumbagam. Then there it comes the prayer, Loga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Instead of, oh God, give me this, give me that. Usually in all religions, I'm a humble student of religion. I don't want to say that I'm a teacher of religion. It happens that I am an instructor of, theological studies, especially with relation to religious studies. But we always say that we are still a student, undoubtedly, because I haven't seen all this voluminous work of different religions and different thought process. But we can assume that the meaning of religion, that, religion makes you a better human being. As we said that I begin in love, I go on in love, and every day I ends up in love. No hatred. If someone really humiliates you, in human terms, if someone really humiliates you, you turn it into peace and you pray for that particular person. That's why leaders always say that don't let the sun to, go down on your hatredness. If you developed anything, hateful thing, before the sunset, wash it away from you. Usually we all, humanity, we all, especially from those who are from tropical region, we take wash at least 2 times, isn't it? I used to have this dhyana, that wash dhyana. When you wash yourself, and particularly, this is the only time that we are not having our cell phone with us. Am I right? Usually we always look. But at least when we take a shower, we cannot use it. So at that time, have a short meditation that I am not only washing my outer parts.
Water.
No. Thank you. I'm not only washing, my body. Wash your mind, wash your spirit with some good prayers, chantings, deep, silent meditation. Even, when you soap, you don't need your eyes. Usually we close the eyes also, isn't it? Otherwise the soap will go inside. So have a deep dhyana during that time. So I think I have to stop here because there is a lot of felicitations. But in one word, I'm not only felicitating this meeting, I'm also congratulating the effort, especially my brother Shashikumarji. Is all of you are helping him, but he is with tremendous pressure. And he said that Bishop, be there. So I congratulate the entire people, those who are organizing it, and especially I want to give you, if you feel with me, give a round of applause, especially to our Shashikumarji. Thank you. God bless and take care.
Thank you for that enlightening words of felicitation. Now we have Imam Sulaiman Ashari to enlighten us yet again with his words of felicitation.
അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും വറഹ്മത്തുള്ളാഹി. സർവശക്തനായ ജഗന്നിയന്താവിൻ്റെ രക്ഷയും സമാധാനവും നമ്മിലേവരിലും വർഷിക്കുമാറാകട്ടെ എന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുകയാണ്. അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും എന്ന പദത്തിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം പീസ് ബി അപ്പോൺ യു എന്നാണ്. അമ്പലത്തിൽ കടക്കുമ്പോൾ അവിടെ ഓം ശാന്തി എന്ന് എഴുതി വച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാകും. അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കുമിൻ്റെ മറ്റൊരു രൂപമാണ് ഓം ശാന്തി. പീസ് എന്നത് വളരെ മനോഹരമായൊരു പദമാണ്. ഭക്ഷണമുണ്ട്, വസ്ത്രമുണ്ട്, കിടക്കാൻ ഇടമുണ്ട്, സമാധാനമില്ലെങ്കിൽ ആത്മഹത്യയല്ലാതെ പരിഹാരം ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ഹിറ്റ്ലർ സൂയിസൈഡ് ചെയ്തു. പവർഫുൾ മാൻ ആയിരുന്നു എല്ലാവർക്കും. പക്ഷെ ഉള്ളിൽ ഇന്റേണൽ കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ് അദ്ദേഹം അനുഭവിച്ചിരുന്നു. ഹു വിൽ ക്രൈ വെൻ യു ഡൈ റോബിൻ ശർമ്മയുടെ മനോഹരമായൊരു പുസ്തകമാണ്. ഹു വിൽ ക്രൈ വെൻ യു ഡൈ. ഞാൻ മരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ചിലർ കരയാനുണ്ടാകുക എന്നതാണ് ഒരാളുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ മഹത്വം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. യേശുക്രിസ്തുവിനെ ലോകമൊത്തം അങ്ങനെ കാണുന്നത്, കൃഷ്ണഭഗവാനെയും രാമനെയും അങ്ങനെ കാണുന്നത്, മുഹമ്മദ് നബിയെ അങ്ങനെ കാണുന്നത്, അവരെല്ലാം അവർക്ക് ലഭിച്ച കുറച്ചു ടൈം, കൂടിയല്ല ജനിക്കുന്ന നേരത്തും കൂടിയല്ല മരിക്കുന്ന നേരത്തും മധ്യ എങ്ങനെ കാണുന്ന നേരത്തു മത്സരിക്കുന്നത് എന്തിനു നാം വൃഥ പൂന്താനം പാടുന്നുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ ഗുരുവായൂരിന്നാണ് വരുന്നത്. തൻ്റെ ജ്ഞാനപ്പാന എഴുതുന്നത് അവിടെ വെച്ചാണ്. ആധ്യാത്മികത, സ്പിരിച്വാലിറ്റി എന്നത് ഒരാളുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഐക്യുവിനേക്കാൾ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് ഉള്ള ഒന്നാണ് ഇമോഷണൽ കോഷ്യന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദി എബിലിറ്റി ടു യൂസ് യുവർ നോളജ് ടു ടേക്ക് ഗുഡ് ഡിസിഷൻ. ന്യൂ ജനറേഷൻ ഇല്ലാതെ പോകുന്നത് അതാണ്. വിദ്യ കൊണ്ടറിയേണ്ടതറിയാതെ വിദ്വാനെന്നു നടിക്കുന്നിതു ചിലർ, കുങ്കുമത്തിൻ ഗന്ധമറിയാതെ കുങ്കുമം ചുമക്കും പോലെ ഗർദ്ധപം എന്നും പൂന്താനം പാടുന്നുണ്ട്. ശശികുമാർ സാർ എന്നെ ക്ഷണിച്ചപ്പോൾ ഇത്ര ഗംഭീരമായ ഒരു പരിപാടിയാണെന്ന് ഞാൻ നനച്ചിരുന്നില്ല. തീർച്ചയായും ഇന്നത്തെ കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഏറ്റവും അനിവാര്യമായ ഒന്നാണ് ഈ കൂടിയിരിക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഡയലോഗ്. രാത് സേ രാത് തക് ബാത് ചലേ, ആഖിർ തക് മുലാഖാത്ത് ചലേ. രണ്ട് രാഷ്ട്രങ്ങൾ തമ്മിൽ യുദ്ധമുണ്ടാകുന്ന ഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഒരു ഹിന്ദി കവി പാടിയതാണത്. രാത് സേ രാത് തക് ബാത് ചലേ. കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ സ്കില്ലുള്ള ഏകജീവി മനുഷ്യനാണ് സംസാരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കുക. ആഖിർ തക് മുലാഖാത്ത് ചലേ, കാണുക. ഒരാളിനെ മറ്റൊരാളെ കാണുമ്പോൾ കിട്ടുന്ന ഒരു വല്ലാത്തൊരു വൈബ്, ഹാപ്പിനെസ് ഇസ് എ സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഓഫ് മൈൻഡ്. അത് ഉള്ളിൽ നമ്മൾ അനുഭവിക്കുന്നൊരു ഫീലാണ്. എൻ്റെ തൊട്ടടുത്താണ് ബിഷപ്പ് ഉള്ളത് എന്ന് ഇവിടെ വച്ചാണ് ഞാൻ അറിയുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും അങ്ങനെയാണ്. നമ്മുടെ തൊട്ടടുത്തുണ്ടാകും പലതും. ആൽക്കമിസ്റ്റ് എന്ന മനോഹരമായൊരു നോവലുണ്ട് പൗലോ കൊയ്ലോയുടെ. അതിൽ അദ്ദേഹം ശിഷ്യനോട് പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, തൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ ചെറിയ ഒരു പാത്രത്തിൽ എണ്ണ കൊടുത്ത് ആശ്രമമൊക്കെ കണ്ടുവരാൻ വേണ്ടി പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. എല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ് തിരിച്ചു വരുമ്പോൾ എണ്ണ തുളുമ്പി പോകരുത് എന്നൊരു നിർദ്ദേശവും വെച്ചു. എല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ് തിരിച്ചെത്തിയപ്പോൾ ഗുരു ചോദിച്ചു എല്ലാം കണ്ടോ എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു. അപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞു ഞാൻ ഒന്നും കണ്ടില്ല, കാരണം എണ്ണ തൂവി പോകാതിരിക്കാൻ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു എന്ന്. ഈശ്വരനെ കാണാൻ കഴിയുക എന്നതാണ് ഒരാളുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഭാഗ്യം. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈശ്വരനെ കാണുക? എന്നെ കണ്ടാൽ മതി എന്നാണ്. എന്നെ കണ്ടാൽ നിന്നെ കണ്ടു, നിന്നെ കണ്ടാൽ എല്ലാം കണ്ടു എന്ന് കുഞ്ഞുണ്ണി മാഷ് പാടുന്നുണ്ട്. മഹാത്മജിയെ പോലെ ലോകത്ത് മറ്റൊരു മഹാത്മജിയില്ല. 2 യേശു ക്രിസ്തുവില്ല, 2 മുഹമ്മദ് നബിയില്ല, 2 രാമനില്ല, 2 കൃഷ്ണനില്ല. എല്ലാം ഒന്നാണ്. എങ്ങനെ സംഭവിച്ചു? അങ്ങനെ ഈ അത്ഭുതം, ഈ യൂണിവേഴ്സ്, അതിനെ നമ്മൾ ശരിക്കും ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇത് ഈശ്വരനെ കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. ആ ഗോഡ്, ആ ഓൾമൈറ്റി, അവരുടെ അടിമകളാണ്, സിട്ടികളാണ് നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും. ഒരു ദിവസം നമ്മൾ മരിക്കും, എന്നാണെന്നറിയില്ല. മരിച്ച് യാത്രയാകുമ്പോൾ ആ അവസാന നിമിഷം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ച ആയുസ്സിൽ ഞാൻ ചിലതൊക്കെ ചെയ്തു. ശശികുമാർ സാർ മരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ സന്തോഷം ഉണ്ടാവും. ഈ എഫേർട്ട് വല്ലാത്തതാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഇതിൻ്റെ അവസാനം അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഹാർമണിയുണ്ട്, ഇൻറ്റേർണൽ ഹാർമണിയുണ്ട്. അത് വളരെ പ്രധാനമാണ്. If you have the real desire, the whole universe will conspire to help you to achieve your goal. ശശികുമാർ സാർ അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു വേൾഡ് പീസ് സമ്മിറ്റ് ഇവിടെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു ആശയം അത് അദ്ദേഹം നടപ്പാക്കി. എനിക്കും നിങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ അത് സാധിക്കും. ഇഫ് ദർ ഇസ് എ വിൽ, ദർ ഇസ് എ വേ. എല്ലാവിധ ഭാഗങ്ങളും ഒരു ഖുർആനിലൊരു ആയത്ത് പാരായണം ചെയ്ത് അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. ഖുൽ യാ അഹ്ലൽ കിതാബ് തആലൗ ഇലാ കലിമത്തിൻ സവാഇൻ ബൈനനാ വബൈനകും. ഓ വേദഗ്രന്ഥം പാരായണം ചെയ്യുന്നവരെ, നിങ്ങൾ വരൂ, നമുക്കൊന്നൊരുമിച്ചിരിക്കാം, പരസ്പരം ഡയലോഗ് പങ്കുവയ്ക്കാം. എന്നെ നിനക്കും നിന്നെ എനിക്കുമറിയാനുള്ള അവസരമാണ് ഇത്തരം ഡയലോഗുകൾ. ഇതാണ് ലോകത്തെ ഏറ്റവും പവർഫുള്ളായ വെപ്പൺ. പീസിനുള്ള, സമാധാനത്തിനുള്ള ഏക ആശ്രയവും ആയുധവും ഇതാണ്. ആ വലിയ ആയുധമാണ് യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ ശശികുമാർ സാറിൻ്റെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ ഇവിടെ ഉപയോഗപ്പെടുത്തുന്നത്. ഈ ഇത്തിരിവട്ടം അങ്ങനെ കത്തിപ്പടരുമെന്ന് നമുക്ക് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കാം. പുതിയ പ്രത്യാശയുടെ നാളുകൾ, വരാനിരിക്കുന്ന നാളുകളെ ആ അർത്ഥത്തിൽ പ്രത്യാശയോടെ നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ ശ്രമിക്കാം. ഒരു കവിത കൂടി പാരായണം ചെയ്ത് ആലപിച്ച് ഞാൻ നിർത്തുകയാണ്. വെറുതെ യാദൃച്ഛികം അടുത്തുള്ളോരെ കണ്ടാൽ പൊഴിക്കാനൊരു ചിരി ചുണ്ടിലിന്നെനിക്കില്ല. ശുദ്ധത തുളുമ്പുന്ന സ്നേഹത്തിൽ കുളിർപ്പിക്കും ഗംഗയും യമുനയും എന്നുള്ളിൽ വറ്റിപ്പോയി. പൂക്കളോ ചിരികളോ പൂത്തിടാത്തൊരു തരം അന്തകവിത്തായി തീർന്നൻ മനസ്സും മസ്തിഷ്കവും. സർവശക്തൻ നമ്മെ എല്ലാവരെയും അനുഗ്രഹിക്കുമാറാകട്ടെ എന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നിർത്തുന്നു.
Thank you, Imam, for that very enriching words of felicitation. As rivers, ponds, lakes and streams all have different names but contain water, religions have different names but all contain truth. Let me cordially call upon Most Venerable Ravi Methankar, Patron and International President, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, for felicitation.
Excuse me. Namaste. We are very happy to find you all who is interested in the peace. And actually the world is becoming in the peace age, not in the peace. So we have to finish those pieces and make it one. So we have gathered, and we are happy that so many people are interested in the peace. So what is there? I just see, introduce me. We have one World Buddhist Mission. So our mission is there to make a world Buddhist. Buddhism is not a religion, because I study and I taught for a long time, and I understand that this is not any religion. It is the way of living. And we can live in the world without
caste, creed, religion, and the boundaries of the nation. You are from this part, you are from this part, I am from this part. That should be finished. Because the Buddha always taught for that. There should be an universe. Brotherhood, we are talking about brotherhood, this one. So we have to follow that one. Or not up to this. Because Buddha never said, you must do. No. In some of the religion they say, okay, you must do, otherwise this is. But Buddha said, I give you some guidance. Like this morning we did the Tri Sharan Panchasil, that is the first step of the beginning. If you have to devote to someone. Even maybe your wife you devote, your daughter you devote, someone you have to dedicate your things. So Buddha said that, okay, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is there. But you don't have to follow. If you feel it gives you a happiness, it gives you a concentration, the peace of mind. Because our mind is very devil mind. So we have to control. Even I'm here, I can think about Japan, we can think about the Korea, Russia, everything by sitting here. So to control the mind is the most important. The Buddha's teachings we got, there are many books whether Buddha said or not. Because there are many Buddhas, not one Buddha. And you can be also Buddha. The Buddha. So in that, we are discussing here about the Gautam the Buddha, who gets a birth in the Nepal, comes to the place which is in the Buddha Gaya in Bihar state. And fortunately or unfortunately, I was also brought up and I studied there. I taught Buddhism. I didn't understand Buddhism for a long time. Basically, we were from Hindu family. And after a study, then meeting with Dalai Lama, just like we are sitting. So that time I was a young student of the university. So always we have a discussion with Dalai Lama a number of times. So ultimately I found, this is not a religion. So we can move in that one. And so that was important. So Buddha says, I become Buddha and you can become Buddha. But you have to follow. Suppose almost people are Kerala is the number one in education. So even for getting high school degree, you have to go with the courses. Unless you don't go to the course, you cannot pass the high school. Or even 7th class, 5th class, because literacy is very high in Kerala. We heard and it is true. So for passing any exam, you have to go through a course. So Buddha gives you the course also, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and then he gives you the 5 precepts, Panatipata, don't to kill someone, Adinadana, which is not given, you should not take that things, whatever the things is there. So then Kameshu Michachara, you don't go for adultery. Then there is getting Mushawada, don't speak of the lies, which is our general habit to speak the lies. Then it is telling that one Sura Mere Majja Pamadatthana, that intoxication. If our brain is intoxicated, we do not some, but a lot of nuisance. And bulgari, fighting, so many misconduct starts with the intoxication of the mind. So mind is very important, we should control. And there is a book called Dhammapad. Dhammapad also telling Buddha's teaching, also we accept that one. So Dhammapad starts with that one. Mano Pubangama Dhamma. Mano. Because the mind is the forerunner, fast. So when we do any meditation, dhyana or the yoga or anything, we control our mind. So mind control is very important. So since I was a lecturer, I used to teach 3 hours, 4 hours, so I cannot be non-stop. And we have given only 5 minutes. So I think so Buddha's teaching he gave, and every time he said, don't follow me like we carry, when somebody dies, what we do? Put on our shoulder and put to the graveyard. So just don't take my teachings as we carry the corpse to the graveyard. You think it is good for you and society, please follow this. Otherwise don't say that Buddha said. I'm not giving you anything. I can just give you the way. Because I also became a Buddha by following our forefather Buddhas. And so today I become the Buddha. So this is just, I will say you that there is no pressure in Buddhism. It is a way of living, medium way of living. So don't make your life too hard or too loose. Like same like the lyrets, the string of a lyret. So when the music comes, when it is not so much tight or so much liberal. So I think with this I will take our time because we have the limited time. So I pray for everybody. Sabitiyo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinashyatu mate bhavantu antarayo sukhi diggayuko bhava abhivadana silasya buddhang nityang pachayino chattaro dhamma baddanti ayubano sukhang balang. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Be happy, everybody should be there, and we should be in peace and harmony without caste, creed, and the nation. Thank you.
Thank you for your words of wisdom. Now I kindly request, request the other felicitators to please kindly join the dais. Most Reverend Advocate Dr. Robinson D. Luther, Dr. Devi Raj, Ustad Muttalib Aslami, Professor Dr. Abraham Karikam, and Professor Dr. U.P. Anil Kumar. I request all the other felicitators to please join the dais. So I request Professor Dr. Abraham Karikam to kindly deliver the keynote address.
A very good morning once again. So nice to see you. There is a Sanskrit quotation, Ravi Sannidhi Matrena Suryakandam Prakashayet Guru Sannidhi Matrena Shishya Jnanam Prakashayet. So only in the presence of sun, Vaidurium or diamond shines. Only in the presence of great Jnanam Prakashayet. So among so many Gurujis here, I feel really elated because under their feet, Upanishad, sitting under the feet of the Gurus, we learn to cut like diamond what is inside us. So this is a great occasion like that, World Peace Summit. What is peace? Usually I define peace as regaining the cosmic balance or the cosmic order. The universal order is that of peace, peaceful. Even the universal music is peaceful. But we human beings are destroying the music of the universe. So we have to bring back the universe to order, the cosmic order, the designed order of the universe. When we break it, there are problems. So that is why we conduct the World Peace Summit. How can we restore the balance of the universe? Is it for perennial sun is enough to destroy the world? Should we allow that? Recently, we visited Rwanda. Morgana was there, Rebiji was there for the Global Council of URI. Everywhere they were taking us to the genocide museums to see the skeletons of the people who were killed. 800,000 people killed in 4 months. Can you imagine that? Because of brothers fighting one another. 2 tribes fighting one another in a peaceful African country. 1 tribe was completely annihilated, eradicated from the face of the earth. 800,000 people. Can you imagine that? And all the dead bodies are kept in different genocide museums. Today everybody goes and see the museums of skeletons. Why? Because 2 communities, they did not know how to live in peace. Same thing is happening in India now. You go to Manipur, Some years ago, URI Executive Director Charles Gibbs and myself, we went to Manipur University. There was a wonderful conference, peace conference in Manipur University. Both of us spoke there. The same Manipur, I cannot go now. There is no university now because you cannot live in peace there. Why? Two brother communities are fighting. So when you inject poison about the other, when we think the other who is in front of us is our enemy, this can happen anywhere. See, I wonder, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, only 300,000 people died when we put the first 2 atomic bombs. 300,000 people in 3 days. 800,000 people in 4 months without a bomb in Rwanda. How could they do that? I can't understand how they kill 800,000, 8 lakhs people. So, this can happen. Now we are all brothers and sisters, saying we are universal brotherhood and we are brothers and sisters. Same was in Manipur. Now, after this conference, URI, we go to Calcutta. We are bringing Cookies and Meitei community in Kolkata. 10 people from Meitei, 10 people from Cookie community. But the pity is that we cannot accommodate them in the same hotel. We are putting them in 2 different hotels in faraway places. I asked why. Because when they come together, do you think they will fight? And they said, we don't know. You see, yesterday we were 1, but today we are 2. And we jump upon the other one like animals. Why? Who creates such problems in this beautiful world? So this is why we conduct so many number of URI or Santhigiri Ashram, Global Yoga Community. These are not the only organizations. Our Devarajji is here. Every year he brings 5,000, 3,000 people for the World Yoga Community. Carlos is here. He came all the way from Uruguay. Now he lives in Rome. Carlos, good friend of mine, he started an organization, Living Peace International, working in 140 different countries today. That is why we are honoring him with the first International Peace Award by 1 billion Youth for Peace. Carlos, will you please stand up because they don't know. See, one person starting an organization for Living Peace International, and it is taking roots in 140 countries, all universities, colleges, everywhere. So he has come all the way from Rome to receive our simple, humble award. So this is our duty. There are so many, like she was speaking about streams. There are hundreds of peaceful streams, and we are all flowing towards the ultimate God's kingdom. I'll conclude because everybody is very conscious about time, right from Bishop. So I am also winding up because we know all the things. We don't need so many speeches, but still some light somewhere. I have written a book, The Concept of Salvation in the Upanishads, the Bible and the Quran. Rakshasankalpam Upanishattukalilum, Bible-ilum, Quranilum. Salvation, afterlife. How is in the Bible, Upanishad, I studied 128 Upanishads for that, just to see how they deal with concept of salvation. Then the Holy Quran also, beautiful concept of salvation in the Quran. In the end of the book, I give 23 areas where all these 3 religions, major religions of the world meet. 23 areas where we can meet, where we can unite. Then why should we marvel in differences? When there are so many areas where we can come together, why should we find out one difference and fight on that? Every other year we conduct a Holy Books Conference. The next one is going to be in Europe in May this year. We seek the commonalities in all the Holy Scriptures. not the differences. Where we can unite. All the scriptures give beautiful ideas, areas where we can unite. Then why should we fight? So if we fight, nobody will be there on the face of the earth. So everybody should understand, easy to inject poison, but very difficult to sustain peace. That's why we are discussing about sustainable development goals. When Shiva Kumarji, 2 years ago, he came and asked me, will URI help in this process? Yes, I said, URI is there for peace. Whatever we do, we will be with you. Now, URI is only 23 years old, United Religions. But we are active in 112 countries today. Next 10 years, URI will be in all the nations of the world. So, Guruji is also working in United Nations. He is the secretary of all the NGOs at the UN. So, we are all, this is a wonderful group. So many, I found, so many scholars are here. We are not scholars who are just who come on the stage. They are not. All people who are here, great scholars. So let us share our experiences. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
കണ്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രൊഫസർ ഡോക്ടർ അബി തോമസ് ഇല്ല അത് ലഞ്ചിന് ശേഷമല്ലേ അതെ അങ്ങനെ വിളിക്കും അല്ല അത് വോട്ട് ഓഫ് താങ്ക്സിന് നിങ്ങൾ ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നല്ല ഓക്കെ അങ്ങനെയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇദ്ദേഹത്തെ വിളിക്കാം കാർലോസിൻ്റെ പേരുണ്ടല്ലോ
Thank you, Abraham sir, for your words of wisdom, thereby adding immense value to our session. Now, I request Dr. Carlos Palma Lima, General Coordinator of the Living Peace International, to kindly join us on the dais. Here we have the much awaited session, Lectures on Summit Theme. The main theme is the promise of oneness, the power of peace, redefining sustainable development of humanity. Sir, please.
Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Mamash. Dear brothers and sisters, it's an honor for me to be here today, represented so many youth around the world. Yes, I started 11 years ago a project of peace education, Living Peace. Why? Because I spent 30 years in Middle East, always in situation of war. When I arrived in Jerusalem, I was shocked. The first day I work as a teacher in a school, Arab school. One boy, 10 years, raised his hand and asked me a question. Mister, can you tell me what means peace? I said, what do you want to know? What we can do one day where there's no war? I was shocked because I realized that those kids, they born in war, they grow up in war, and they never had one day of peace. But few months later, walking in the Jewish area of Jerusalem, an explosion of a bomb happened exactly to the place I was walking to. So suddenly I found myself on the floor, plenty of blood, between people dead, people shouting, asking for help. And I realized all those things, I saw it in television, in cinemas. Now it's a part of my life. Now I live in a country of war. And when I left the hospital, I left with a question in my heart without an answer. Me, Carlos, what I am doing for peace? What is my role to change this culture of war and culture of peace? I didn't know. Just few months later, going to pray in the old city of Jerusalem, I was attacked from a group of Palestinians with stones, because they thought I am a Jewish. I was in a corner, I couldn't escape, and the soldiers, Israeli soldiers, started to run to help me. And I knew that if they come on time, they take the youth to prison in very bad conditions. So I told them, go fast before they arrive. One running fell down, and I saw blood in his leg. For me, it was spontaneous to take my handkerchief to put in his leg to stop the blood. And I told him, go fast. 3 days later, someone dropped in the door of my house. A big surprise was that boy that wanted to return me my handkerchief clean and a bread that his mother prepared for me. And I understood from the bottom of my heart that if I want to contribute to a culture of peace, I have to start with a culture of love. No sentimentalism, but really be ready to give my life. I spent 12 years in Jerusalem, and then I went to Lebanon. It was the war. I passed most of my time underground in the refugees. And then to Iraq, and was the beginning of the war. How many experiences you can imagine when you touch the suffering of the people, and especially the painful to see your student dying. Most of the victims are children and students. I remember one day I was at school and the alarm started because the missiles started to fall down. And someone came to the classroom to collect the children, to deliver the children one by one in their house. They were crying, looking for their mom, their father. It was normal. So I felt there, my children, my students. Please, I have to go. I have to deliver them. I insist, and they gave me the permission. So I start with 10 kids, hand by hand, in this hard situation, to deliver one by one the students. At the end, I said, I go to the school just to pick my things and go home. When I went to the school was not there anymore. During my time, during the trip, imagine, a bomb destroyed completely my school. And I was shocked seeing my colleagues maybe, but they were there. And if I did not make this short, small act of love, maybe I was there too. So that made me stronger to go ahead, but only this question, I have to do something, I have to do something. And it was in Cairo, some years later, working in an American school and start the Spring Arab Revolution. Again, the same drama, and I say to myself, it's enough, I have to do something. So I create a dice that I call it the dice of peace. As you see, a small dice with sentences in the place of numbers, with very simple sentences. Love everyone, be the first to love, listen to the other, to forgive one another. Very simple thing. And with drawings. And I went to the school and I said, look, this is the dice of peace. Every morning we will throw the dice. The sentence is up. This will be the program to live for peace all day at school. And 10 minutes before we leave, we will share our experiences. So we remember that sentence, how we live for peace today. And every day, 12 o'clock, to make a time out for peace, a moment of silence or reflections of how I am living for peace. So, incredible. A change, a big change for the student, because it was like if I offer a glass of water in the middle of the desert. They start to live these experiences. They start to share something incredible. The boys that renounce to play football in the break, just to be in the class to help those who has problems to finish the grammar exercises, and so on. Parents start to be involved, teachers start to be involved, and all the school was involved. Even the lady who cleaned the toilet, she showed me the small dice, said, this is my dice. I throw the dice, this is my sentence. The cafeteria, everyone, the drivers of the autobus, everyone living for peace. And very often, 25 school asking me to make a project. I said, I have not a project. So I create this project Live in Peace International, live in peace. Because peace, we don't do it, we live it. And peace starts in our heart when we love. Inner peace, first step. I give what I have. If I don't have peace, I will never, ever, even if I do great things, but without peace. So live in peace, live in, be the protagonist. Peace depends on me, not on others. I am the first who have to build peace, first in myself, and then around me with the nature, with the world. And so this simple idea started to spread all around the world. And when the kids, 15 years old, proposed me to write letters to all presidents around the world, for me was something strange how we will do it. We sent more than 100 emails. Believe, after 1 week, 10 days, the first answer, President Obama from the United States and his wife, saying, you start a path of peace education. The Kingdom of Spain, the President of Ireland, the Nobel Prize of India 2012, Minister of Education all around the world. And I said, what's going on? A dice of peace made all his noise. I felt from the bottom of my heart, here is the finger of God. Here starts something new. In fact, now this dice is all around the world, and they create their own dices. Look at that. For example, in Spain, they create the interreligious dice of peace. Each sentence corresponds to one religion. In Philippines, the ecological dice of peace. In Belgium, the dice of peace for the nature. The psychological dice of peace, the dice of peace for ethic, for music, for art, for economic. Incredible. These 12 students today are 2 million. Was one class, one school. Today, 2,000 schools, 500 universities, 94 universities, organizations, international organizations, and we have Scout, Rotary, Lions. The dice arrive in prisons. With the prisoners, they throw the dice and their cells to live for peace. So what is today, live in peace? Today, this is a big net. We have all these students from so different countries, from some 134 countries around the world, all the cultures, all the religions, living for peace, being protagonists of peace. So that is living peace, a project of peace education that made all of us protagonists. Let me end with one sentence that I love it very much from the philosopher from China. Make more noise a falling tree than a forest growing up. We are all in front of this falling tree. Are the news, the bad news that are unfortunately exist. But there is a forest. We are the forest who growing up in silence. Let's do so many summits like this one, because we, with the summit, give voice to the forest. Because the forest is much more than the fallen tree. Thank you so much.
Sir, grazie mille to the highest for adding immense value to our session through your words of wisdom. Now, let me cordially invite Dr. Homi B. Dhalla, founder president of World Saratushti Central Foundation, who is a renowned Parsi leader and international advisor for Parliament of World Religions, and who was also fortunate enough to work with the Missile Man of India. Sir, please.
Can I have some water, please? Good afternoon. First and foremost, my grateful thanks to Mr. Sasi Kumar for having invited me here. I know we are running short of time, and I will keep my talk very briefly. Can I have some water, please? My topic for today was the Zoroastrian concept of harmony. Zoroastrianism goes back to 3,500 years ago, and today we are only a handful of Zoroastrians in India, about 60,000 in a population of 1.2 billion. To the Zoroastrian, the forces of good and evil are incessantly warring with each other. He is exhorted to battle evil by aligning himself with good. But he is not expected to accomplish this in isolation. His natural instinct to live and participate in society has been recognized by religion, which expects him to achieve his ideals working alongside with his fellow men. It is in this context that the concept of Hamazor becomes pertinent in the Zoroastrian tradition. Hamazor means, Hamag comes from the word strength, and Zor means unity. It means unity, harmony, or brotherhood. The concept, as it will be pointed out from the extant literature, demonstrates that man is expected to live in harmony not only with his fellow man but also with his natural surroundings. Davas and Palvi books emphasize various ways in which a Zoroastrian may live in harmony with his fellow men. He is expected to attain happiness when he endeavors to satisfy merely not his own ends. Happiness comes to him when he brings happiness to others. The Whisperer, which is an ancient text, says, "Up with your feet and up with your hands. Keep your minds in readiness, ye Muslim worshipping Zoroastrians. Do lawful and timely good deeds, and for the undoing of unlawful and untimely deeds." A Zoroastrian is expected to make a conscious effort to end dissension or conflicts. In the Zoroastrian Confession of Faith, with the 4 fundamental principles of Zoroastrianism, the very first principle is to put an end to all discord. Moreover, mankind is expected to fulfill 3 important duties: to make an enemy a friend, to make a wicked person righteous, and to make an ignorant person wise. Man is supposed to be living in Hamazor with Aura Mazda. Aura Mazda is God. So, man has to treat Aura Mazda as his friend and his father and his brother. This is a direct reference from the words of the Prophet. Man is expected to live in Hamazor with divine light. We have a very beautiful reference in the scriptures saying, Aura Mazda says, "I am light, I am all light, I am full of light." So we Parsis, we Zoroastrians do not worship fire. When we stand before the fire in the fire temple, we are expected to see the divine light of Aura Mazda, and we bow to that divine light. So there are many other references, but due to shortage of time, I shall cut my talk. We also have to be in Hamazor with nature. Professor Hinels has described Zoroastrianism as the world's first ecologically conscious religion. One of the most important ecological references from our scriptures is, "Of what faith are the waters? Of what faith the trees? Of what faith the bounteous Mother Earth? Of what faith is Aura Mazda? Of what faith is Zarathustra the prophet? Of what faith of that law as well? And of that faith I am a worshipper of that." So man is urged to live in Hamazor with his fellow man, with Aura Mazda, with God, and with nature. In the prayer Namachi Chahar name, a devotee turns respectfully towards each direction in deferring thus to nature, he not only acknowledges the omnipotence of Aura Mazda, but also develops a seminal bond with the environment, which is the temple of nature. Man is thus connected to the trees, the mountains, the animals, and oceans in his daily life. I work very closely with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and I had a one-to-one interview with him some time back in Delhi, and talking about peace and human rights. I said, "Sir, Your Holiness, what is the central philosophy of yours?" You know what he said? He says, "My religion is kindness. My philosophy is kindness." And it was because of him that kindness has been now introduced in certain schools of the United States to teach children the importance of kindness. I think we have all heard about George Floyd, the black American who was killed by a white policeman. He kept his knee on his throat and he couldn't suffer. He suffocated and he died. And about 2 years, this happened about 2.5 years back, and they put up a big black billboard in New York to George Floyd. And who do you think they asked to write just 2 simple lines? They asked His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You know what he wrote? "Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible." See the philosophy of life. Today, what is happening in Ukraine, what is happening in Palestine, what happened during the First World War, Second World War, the genocide. It's so sad. So if we can teach our children one very simple lesson of kindness, we would be living in a different world altogether. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening session. Meditation for peace, hope for the world, wisdom for life, and the discovery of spirituality as a way of life, which reverberates the true essence of Brahma Kumaris. I cordially invite kind apologies for the inconvenience. I cordially call upon Nilakshi Rajkhoa, Director, Office of Public Affairs of the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of India, New Delhi, for her lecture.
Good afternoon, distinguished speakers, members of the organizers, esteemed organizations who have come together to organize this World Peace Summit, guests who have come from different parts of the globe. First of all, I would like to thank for giving me this opportunity. It's mentioned, I represent the Baha'i community of India. And it's a disadvantage to be the last speaker, I guess, before lunch. And I don't want to be, between you and lunch. So I would like to concise my speech to 10 minutes. So friends, I've been asked to speak, to give the Baha'i perspective and the vision of Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, on this particular theme, the promise of oneness, the power of peace, redefining sustainable development of humanity. Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, he wrote more than a century ago, "The earth is but one country and mankind its citizens." This powerful statement and contemplate the Baha'i vision for global peace, a world in which all people recognize their common humanity and work together for betterment of all. But the primary questions which we have and needs to be resolved is how the present world, with its entrenched pattern of conflict, can change to a world in which harmony and cooperation will prevail. I think this is what we have been discussing, and the previous speakers have also addressed. What do we need to do at this current situation? And the humanity, the challenges that we are facing are all same, right? So this interdependent is so much prevail in society that we need to think of how to come together. So I would like to just give you a few points which Baha'u'llah has guided the entire humanity, and our international governing body has also described this in one of the statements, the Promise of World Peace. It says that the world order can be founded only on an unshakable consciousness of the oneness of humanity. And this is the principle that the Baha'i community is following and doing work at different levels to be more conscious of who we are as humanity. It says that a spiritual truth which all the human sciences confirm, anthropology, physiology, psychology, recognize only one human species, albeit infinitely varied in the secondary aspects of life. Recognition of the truth requires abandonment of prejudice of every kind, race, color, creed, nation, sex, degree or material civilization, everything which enables people to consider themselves superior to others. Acceptance of the oneness of mankind is the first fundamental prerequisite for reorganization and administration of the world as one country, the home of humankind. I think we all are here together to see how collectively we can bring change. Universal acceptance of this spiritual principle is essential to any successful attempt to establish world peace. It should therefore be universally proclaimed, taught in schools, and constantly asserted in every nation as preparation for the organic change in the structures of society which it implies. In the Baha'i view, recognition of the oneness of mankind calls for no less than the reconstruction and demilitarization of the whole civilized world, a world organically unified in all the essential aspects of its life, its political machinery, its spiritual aspiration, its trade and finance, its script and language, and yet infinite in the diversity of the national characteristics of its federated units. Friends, as I represent the Baha'i community of India, I would like to just share some of the points in the context of India, like what we need to do to build our nation. So as you can see, there are many factors contributing to keeping India together as a nation, but few can deny that a vital cohesive force that binds the nature together, our nation together, is the spirituality of his people. As Dilip Ji Maharaj has also said that India is the land of spirituality. This spirituality finds expression in a culture that values human beings as the creation of the divine, is open and accepting of all people of all backgrounds, that views in all living beings the reflections of the sacred and therefore enjoined respect, gentleness, and non-violence in all relationships as the ideal way of life. It is this spirit of all embracing oneness that is conveyed in the ancient ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. This ethos implicitly emphasizes that the unity of the nation will be a stage in the process of the progressive manifestation of the spirit of oneness in the social and political realm. It reaches its fruition when the people of the oneness of humankind is firmly established in the consciousness of people, and when India and its sister nations across the world unite as one family. We are conscious of this fact that over the past few decades, there has been a worldwide resurgence of religious fundamentalism. Voices that represent religious extremism and intolerance have increasingly entered the political and social mainstream, and in many countries they now dominate public discourse. This has created an atmosphere of confusion around the concept of religion, where its unifying and constructive role has been steadily obscured by the tendency to view it solely through an identity lens. And India, too, has not been immune to it. And these challenges came at a time of great uncertainty in world history, when the need for internal unity is vital to successfully navigate the waves of present and impending crises that can gravely undermine the nation's progress. So the need of the hour then is for a constructive discourse involving leaders and representatives of all religions in India on the role of religion in contributing to social harmony. The ground for such a discourse must be laid by clarifying the fundamental nature and purpose of religion as a system of knowledge and practice and common foundations of all religions. Such a discourse must show a practical path forward for inter-religious collaboration in contributing to the progress of our nation. Preserving these traditions of inter-religious fellowship and perpetuating them requires effort from individuals, communities, and religious leaders and institutions of society, such as the media, education system, and the state. However, such efforts can close in on themselves if inter-religious unity is considered an end in itself and is not viewed in the context of society's needs at this moment in history. Unless united communities are driven by a common objective to contribute to the transformation of society and to ever-increasing material and spiritual prosperity, unity can become a pretext for passive conformity with the status quo, with all its attendant challenges and injustices. The most secure basis of inter-religious harmony would thus lie in religious communities coming together to apply spiritual principles common to all religions for building a more united, just, and prosperous world. Addressing the complex and unprecedented challenges of the 21st century will require the masses of humanity to make deep changes in their pattern of thought and behavior and willingness to make profound sacrifices for the common good. The kind of structural and systematic changes that are needed to become more just, united, and to restore our balance with nature will require selfless efforts from the masses of humanity on a scale for a duration never before witnessed. History bears witness that rather than religion, no other power or man-made ideology has been capable of stirring the depths of human motivation and calling forth the spirit of nobility, sacrifice, and the concern for the society. So here, everyone is looking at the religion as a powerful source which can bring change to the society. So here, I think religious leaders have a unique role to directing the attention of their congregation to the needs of the world. Many heartening examples of religious leaders coming together to rally their congregations around the national drive to address common challenges could be witnessed during the worst phases of the COVID-19 pandemic in India. I would like to share an example of during the COVID crisis in India, 25 religious leaders and representatives of interfaith movements in India issued a joint statement to the followers of all religions in India. And I'd like to quote from that statement, which says, it's important to reiterate those principles common to all religions that have the greatest bearing on people's response to the crisis. The statement, which was issued as an initiative coordinated by the Baha'i community of India, called upon adherents of all religions to unite in a common commitment to 4 spiritual principles that have the most relevance to this crisis: recognition of the oneness of religion, the oneness of humankind, selfless and sacrificial service to the common good, and the complementarity between science and religion. Although this was a modest effort, it illustrated the tremendous potential for positive social change that resided in the untapped spirituality of the masses, which faith leaders could come together and channelize for the well-being of all. So friends, at the end, I will just like to say that let unity harmony become our dominant narrative and become associated ever more strongly with the reputation and reality of Indian identity, relegating conflict and contention among the religions to an earlier and less mature stage of our history. Let us harness the edifying power of religion towards constructive endeavors that can bring about the spiritual and material prosperity of our nation. And in this way, India can truly lead the world morally and contribute to global peace and harmony, assuring its rightful place as a leader in spirituality, interreligious harmony. Thank you for these opportunities, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you all. Thank you.
Let's unity and harmony become our dominant narrative. Thank you, ma'am, for such a truly inspiring session and for your valuable ideas. If anything is worth doing, do it with your whole heart. This quote by Buddha acts as a guiding voice of Buddhism. Let me cordially invite Most Venerable Ravi Methankar, President of World Buddhist Mission, Japan, to share his ideas.
Again, namaste. And so in Japan, I'm living in Japan for last 40 years. They say konnichiwa. Yes. So we can learn also one Japanese word. Just see told that whatever we do fully heart. That is the Buddha's way. So whatever you do. And that is the same thing which I explained you earlier, controlling the mind. So what we say, the meditation, these, and also in Japan we they practice the Jain, they say that the Jain meditation, or what you say, the dhyana in Hindi. So they are all same. When dhyana goes to the China, it becomes Shang. Only the name changes. Same like alcohol, everybody likes the alcohol. So it's a different bottle, the name is different, but thing is there, alcohol is there. Whether it is a wine or whiskey or this. So what is there? The dhyana, guru, all our gurus, the spiritual gurus are there. They are doing the dhyana, yoga, all these things. When you go to the center, there is only one thing. So all we are human beings. We are from India, we are from Kerala, we are from this. But we are same. The human. Humanity is there, important. So what we have to do, if we have taken the pain to grow for the peace, we have to do it up to the last. So in Jain meditation also, we say, whatever you do with your conscience. If you don't do with the conscience, what happens? We are eating. But if we are not eating with the conscience, the rice or the bread, it falls down. So concentration of mind in everything. Because some people say, I'm doing meditation. What you are doing? You are doing nothing. If you are not concentrated your mind, whatever the action, eating, drinking, sleeping, whatever the action you're doing, you have to do with your mindfulness. Even the loving kindness, we have to do mindfulness. We are petting the dog, and when it comes to come here, we put the foot on that. It is not loving kindness. Once you have loving any creature of the world, you have to, by heart, a person can smell whatever the things you are doing is from your heart. If you are loving someone with the heart, then a smell comes. A dog comes to you, it smells. Dog will not come to everybody. If we find, even there are some monks, they're sleeping with the lions. You will see this is the joke. But if you come to this Chandrapur is there in the Maharashtra, there is an open, and the monks are sleeping, and the tiger and the lion, they come behind and they sleep. Normally they will bite it, no? No, they come and sleep. And their color is the same like this robe. You cannot differentiate. So there was one monk, one lion comes and sleeps with, he thought another monk has come, so he gave some space. So that lion again come near him. And he did his tail. Then he understand, why a monk have a tail? Some is suspicious. Then this was his first night. So he sees this one. Oh, then he fearful for a second. Then he said, no, if he is there, come. We have a loving kindness. Then they slept together whole night. Morning, he has gone. This is not a story. This is the real functions. I give you that